Hello, and welcome to the review of Champions. I am your host, Grandmaster. Ant-Man had some trouble getting made. The originally eyed writer and director Edgar Wright moved away from the project after lots of discussion and other stuff going around behind the scenes, and he was replaced by Peyton Reed. And while Reed delivered a good and fun movie, some fans decided they were not going to like it because it wasn't Wright's movie. They wanted a movie that could have been, or maybe even should have been. Ant-Man was a financial success. Ant-Man was a critical success. It's a really fun heist movie with great new characters, and yet fans claim it to be one of Marvel's lesser movies. Ant-Man seems to have ended Phase 2 with an implosion. So let's find out what our champions have to say about all of this. And let me introduce those champions first. We have on camera, we have Merv. How are you this fine evening?
I'm fantastic.
As always. Yeah. And voice only, we have Lokismom. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Okay. Well, Lokismom, start with you. I was talking about Ant-Man and the trouble getting the movie made. And that some people say I wanted to see the Edgar Wright movie, and I don't care about this Peyton Reed because he's not a good director or writer. Blah 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 blah. How do you stand on all of this?
Well, I didn't realize all that controversy with the fans was going on. I mean, I've seen the movie a couple of times and just really loved it. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. I'll just note that the writers also, if you'll notice, there are two other writers. They're called Adam McKay and Paul Rudd, and I
Mhm.
think that sort of that their style of movie making is really reflected in this particular Ant Man movie.
Yeah, Murph, your stance on that Edgar Wright leaving the project and Peyton Reed stepping in, and that it wasn't it was a downgrade in the eyes of some fans.
No, I mean Edgar Wright is a name, and I don't even know what else I've seen Peyton Reed direct. But
Well,
uh,
he directed, if you remember, the episode in The Mandalorian with the spiders in the ice cave.
ah,
He's
that
he's Disney's bug guy.
okay. Well, I would have thought higher of him before you mentioned that, and then I did. Um, no, I don't remember being drawn to the criticism at the time or anything like that. So yeah, it didn't really affect me. What I do remember affecting me more is that the whole again coming back to the whole idea of phases, that we're not going to end on the Avengers film with the bombastic goodbye to phase 2. We're going to end on an Ant-Man film, which is basically an origin story and almost no heroes from any other film. So yeah, that was more like this is what we're going to end the phase on. Okay, that's fine.
No, but it's actually great that you pointed out. It's weird that that you end a phase of the MCU with like a very small movie, and the pun is intended, by the way. Um, and that, yeah, like I say, it ended the phase with an implosion, literally in the movie, of course, but also like the phase itself. Uh, uh, it was a financial success. It was a critical success. Nobody is complaining that it's a bad movie or anything. But is it the way to end a phase?
No, I mean I would say no, just based on phase 1 uh, being what I, especially at the time, expected the parameters of the phases to be, which is build up, build up, build up, big Avengers movie to end everything, and then hey, we'll move on to the next phase and maybe a new threat that transcends a couple of films at a time to build things up. But the Marvel Studios had different ideas on what their phases actually mean, which I have
Yeah,
a lot of opinions about.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, let's talk about the movie itself. Um, starts off. Let's start about the characters that get introduced. You get like Scott Lang, Hank Pym, and Hope Van Dyne, which are the main heroes of this movie. Uh, Hank Pym is played by Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas is in the MCU. People, it's the same as Robert Redford is in the MCU or Glenn Close is in the MCU. Big name attached to this movie. Paul Rudd, the guy that doesn't age. He is a superhero in real life. He doesn't age. That's his superpower. But anyway, and of course Evangeline Lilly, who is famous for the series Lost, I believe, and then of course she was also in the Hobbit movies. Kind of big name back then, and back then sounds like it's an old movie. Well, the movie is 11 years old. People, yeah, you're also 11 years older than when you first saw it. So, Murph, your thoughts on those characters that got introduced and on the movie itself? It's a heist movie. It's fun and it's humorous and fairly enjoyable in my book.
Yeah, yeah. I will say historically, I've probably been harsher on this film than I am today, and I think largely that's due to it not feeling like a huge cog in the wheel that is the Infinity Saga at the time. Like, there's not a whole lot of carryover, and then there's important stuff that is introduced, like the Pym particles, which will have major factors later. But um, I remember thinking of it as kind of a sidebar of the Infinity. Like, it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with a whole lot of other things. Um, and so I guess I considered it a lesser than. But when I rewatched it today, I will say that the family comedy slash drama style vibes through a lot of it, and then the heist aspect to a lot of stuff, both before he gets his suit and then after, whenever everybody's working together, were all phenomenal. The comedy is top notch. The talking about editing again after our last review, the editing is hilarious. Whenever the scene is overly dramatic and there's like a lot of noise and stuff, and then it cuts to like the actual size because they were this big, and then it cuts to the actual size and it's just like a toy falls over. Meanwhile, like down there, it's like a
Mhm.
tower is collapsing and there's a
Mhm.
train rushing at you and stuff. I mean, it's spot on funny. It never gets old. 11 years later, I'm still laughing at the same jokes that I laughed at the first time. Uh, Paul Rudd is excellent. I love Evangeline Lilly from The Lost Show, especially. I wish her film career would have like been as prominent as her specifically in Lost. How that character was favorable, but um, I love Evangeline Lilly. Michael Douglas is great. I've always like enjoyed the Ant-Man character. I know he's kind of divisive, like especially the Hank Pym version, because there's some harsh stuff in the comics that you kind of get a hint of in this. But I've always enjoyed that character. He is an original Avengers in the comics, so the fact that he was left out of all of Phase One and stuff it was something I was critical of at the time. Like the Ant Man and the Wasp are two of the original five Avengers in the comics, so they finally got their due here a little bit, or at least in some version. Um, and I had a lot of fun with this movie. I think this movie is easy, so easy to watch. Everything about it just is. It's way more relaxed of an experience than a lot of the other MCU films up to this point. It's just fun. It's just family fun. It never takes itself too seriously. Every time you think it might, there's a funny little joke that's spliced in amid the drama and the action. So
Mhm.
yeah, I really grew to like love this movie on this rewatch that I had today. I thought it was great.
Yeah. No lies detected. Well, Loki's mom, can I have your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, I've watched it probably about four times now over the years, and I just watched it again this morning, and it's still as fresh as the first time I saw it, and it's because of what Murph points out. It's the jokes are great. They don't, you can laugh at them over and over again. They're styled that way. The characters are wonderful. I think the issue about this ending a phase, I here again, that was something I was unaware of. I don't know that it in the long run that matters. Maybe to the diehard fans, but I thought it was like I say it introduced a whole lot of new characters. I did start off with Hank Pym, as Michael Douglas in 1989 or 86 or whatever it was, and then we see Howard Stark, which I will say, as much as I like John Slattery, he's not what's his name, Dominic Cooper, who played the original Howard Stark, and I don't know, they just didn't match up the characters that well as far as the young guy and the old guy, but that's for a future complaint. But yeah, it did center that. So we found out that, of course, this was part of Shield. Hank Pym was part of that, and then he broke off, and it was done real well and quick. And then we get into the whole Ant-Man story, and I was really not that familiar with Ant-Man. I remember it from the comics, but then I enjoyed being introduced to the character. And like I say, Paul Rudd just is just a million watt light bulb, and has a lot of charisma. And of course, as I pointed out, that this a lot of this dialogue and everything was written for him and by him because he knows his character, knows what's funny, and has been very successful with it. And yes, his superpower is that he does not age. Him and Kevin Bacon, they never change. Yeah, I don't have too many demerits on this film. Golly, what I'm thinking hard trying to think of one.
Well,
I'm just going to be honest. I didn't see anything. Everything clicked. It was well paced. I the ants. I love the ants. How that was done, and then Murph pointed out all the great cutting to jump cuts and everything and that was very frenetic. But yet it was done so well that it didn't make you dizzy and whatnot. You were able to follow it and see what he was doing um, and then the tank. I love the very last when you see that little keychain, oh boy, here it comes. And of course, they didn't let us down with the tank. So, yeah, just really a fun movie. And like you say, maybe at the time we don't realize it, but it sets up a lot of what's coming up the road for future MCU.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about effects. There was a lot of shrinking and growing, and you already touched on it a little bit. But I thought the effects actually in this movie were great. You really get a sense like how it feels to be like this small in some scenes. Um, Especially when Michael Pena threatens to drop his pants. But what? Any thoughts on that on the facts? Were they just great?
Oh, you talk so. Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm
Oh,
talking to you.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah, I mean, I noticed that was when they would shrink him down, and then it was very believable. I mean, everything was scaled right. You said the director was a bug. He directed giant bug movies, so he was the right guy for this movie. And yeah, so and of course the ants are just wonderful. They're we find out that they're really smart little guys and have personalities and let's see what else. The special effects.
Well,
Oh
there's
my
one.
golly! And let's talk a little bit about Corey Stoller. He's the real villain here in this movie, and
Yeah,
um, you know, oh that poor. Okay, here's my one demerit. They showed that poor little lamb being
yeah,
smushed down.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like that.
yeah. But on the other hand, I had lamb chops the other day. That was
Oh
also.
no.
I'm not too weak on retarded on that. But anyway, and of course, there's also the special effect that is Michael Pena, Luis. His storytelling is
Oh yeah. Uh
amazing
huh.
in
Yeah.
this movie. Please tell me you love it.
Absolutely. I mean, there you can see Adam McKay all over the place, and with both those sequences, the dovetail bookend it and it really works and funny. And Michael Pena's great. His the who David, I can't pronounce his last name. He plays the Russian tech
Mm-hmm.
guy, and then I can't the comedian
Ti.
Ti. Yeah, Ti. Yeah, he had a great team, and they all they would just have their own TV show as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I would love to watch a TV show with these three characters. I would absolutely love it, but I think
Hmm.
they're too expensive, and
Yep, at
maybe,
this point.
and yeah. Murph, any thoughts on the special effects, including Mike Pena?
Yeah, I thought the special effects hold up 11 years later. I thought they looked
Mhm.
really fun. They looked really good. For the most part, it's like realistic items that he's stomping around. And then towards the end, when he goes like subatomic or whatever, I mean, those visuals rival Doctor Strange films as far as like,
Hmm.
Mhm.
what am I even seeing right now? Like that was really fun and intense. I totally forgot about how visually spectacular this movie was. I will say that the rave scene still comes out of nowhere because it seems like it's the middle of the day and then he falls through the floor and there is a full-on rave going on in this apartment building slash hotel or whatever, and then on the next floor there's just like a mom vacuuming around her kid, and you're just like, what is this building? How
Yeah,
are these apartments sandwiched? A bunch of ex-criminals, a rave, and then a mom
yeah,
with a vacuum.
yeah. But to be fair, this apartment with the rave was shown when he walked up the stairs after he got fired.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Go
Yeah,
back to
okay.
the.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years' time, when you go back to this movie, you will see that. But
It's
no,
like
it was teased. And yeah,
yeah.
any thoughts on the storytelling capabilities of Michael Pena?
I think I was thinking about this as the film was going on. Is Luis the best supporting character in the MCU? I think he has a case. He is more entertaining than probably the rest of this movie, honestly. I could listen to him tell a story if you just want to make a 2-hour movie about that. And just
Hmm.
having
Mhm.
people basically dubbing, have him dubbing over people, talking. I could listen to that all day. I thought both of those like extended scenes were hilarious. I couldn't get enough of them. I wanted to rewatch them as soon as they were done. Michael Pena is amazing. I think he's great in pretty much anything I've seen him in. But he is especially hilarious as Luis here. I
Hmm.
think he's a standout character, and when I was done watching it, I looked, and apparently he signed a contract to do 3 films, but he's only been in 2. So I don't know if he's going to hold out for Doomsday, but
Maybe I can bring
I
him
would
back.
welcome him and like Madison walking around somewhere. I don't know.
Well,
Oh,
at least
that's
they
a
didn't
pair.
waste
That's
him
a
in.
pairing.
They
Yeah,
didn't.
Medicine.
They didn't waste him in the Ant-Man threes.
right, right. But he might have really helped that film,
Could
in my
have.
opinion. I kind of wish they would have thrown him in there, and then you would have been stuck with that kind of comedy because that film needed something else.
Oh God.
A couple highlights I had: Anthony. I mean, is this the saddest death short of Peter Quill's mom at this point in the MCU? I think it might be. Super memorable. R.I.P. Anthony. I loved the Falcon Ant-Man fight, not for its like choreography or anything like that, but I absolutely love this. Is something that happens in the comics all the time that like not enough movies do, I guess, is make it feel like a lived-in universe. Like this kind of a scene where it's just like a normal Tuesday for Falcon and he's dealing with some guy who shrinks, and then later on it's like, oh yeah, these guys are heroes working together. That stuff happens all the time in comics, and I love when they finally decide to like pop it in here. It's a short scene. I don't know what they paid Falcon's actor, I can't remember his name right now,
Anthony
but like,
Mackie.
yeah, Anthony Mackie. I don't know what they paid him, but it was worth it because it just makes this world at this point, especially, just feel even more lived in, and like things are happening even if you're not seeing it.
It was the only Avenger they could afford for this movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
A
That's
bigger
fine.
Avenger didn't fit the
Yeah.
budget.
No.
Well, that's why you got to have a big roster, because sometimes you just got to squeeze these smaller characters in, and it does the same trick. You don't need Chris Evans for everything or Robert Downey Jr.
Hmm.
for everything. If you throw these small characters in there, it still feels the same. It feels like a
Hmm.
lived-in universe, and I think they hit that home here. As for
Yeah.
one final negative, I will point out as much as I love Evangeline Lilly and think she's absolutely gorgeous, I hated her hair in this. I do not like Hope's hairstyle throughout the entirety of this
Mhm.
film.
Yeah, okay, but she needed to have that like boss lady vibe going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And for some reason, short hair on women is like she's fierce or something.
it's fine. It fits the character. I don't have any gripes about it from any other perspective other than I find it aesthetically not great.
Yeah,
But who am I? Look at me.
Yeah, it looked
I'm
like
no.
she just got through playing tennis and
yeah,
her sweaty hair had dried.
something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, yeah. There are not many criticisms I have about this movie either. I mean, like I said before, it's a fun little heist movie. It's actually like a palate cleanser after the mess that was
Mm-hmm.
Age of Ultron. Although
Mm-hmm.
I love Age of Ultron, I said this many times. It's my most rewatched MCU film, but it was kind of messy. And like we discussed the other day, time has been kind on it, by the way. But this was like a palate cleanser. It's just a fun little movie. It introduces some new characters. The stakes are not that great, although uh, they squeeze in the 10 rings apparently, and they squeeze in Hydra apparently. So to make it feel like Murph said, it's in this shared universe and in the shared world, and it had so much fun with the effects, and yeah, it all just makes me happy, and that's actually what movies are supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They need to make you happy. But there's also no need to dwell on it longer than we are doing right now. But we will not disappoint you. We will rate this movie as well. So I'm going for you, Murph, first. What is your number for Ant-Man?
I'd give it a solid 8 Thomas the Train crashes out of 10. Very
Oh,
fun.
okay, sure. And Loki's mom?
I will give it 8.5 little lambs.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight, and I'm gonna say 8 ants. 8 ants.
You
Uh,
ate ants.
yeah, I ate ants. Well, no, I don't think I have, but maybe someday I will. You never know. That will end our discussion today. And I have nothing left to do than to make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. And you can also subscribe to Sakar. Go to sakar.freeforms.net, click on the link in the description, and become a champion yourself. And you can step into the arena also on the channel. Like Loki's mom and Merv and Taylor and Lord Deathman and others have done in the past and still do. Uh, and they do that on a regular basis. Next time, we will find out if all those battles will eventually lead to a civil war. But we'll see. For more NCU content, you can check out our latest episode in our Daredevil Born Again review series. And for Star Wars fans, there's also a brand new episode in our Maul Shadow Lord review series. And of course, we're going to review The Mandalorian and Grogu early June. We will get there, but it will be early June. For now, I wish you all to be safe and be well. This is Grandmaster signing off.